So things are looking pretty good. Good evening, everybody. This is John, your guitar teacher. We're going to do lesson number 2. I hope you guys have your guitars and you've been practicing. Right? Practice makes perfect. Well, permanent, so we want to make sure we're practicing the right way and that you've been playing your guitars a little bit every day, like I suggested. I know you haven't. You've been busy with all the, things that you're doing at home and stuff, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how you do tonight. I wish I could see how you're doing tonight. I don't know why I said that. I can't see you. You can only see me. So I'm just going to trust that you guys have done well and are practicing at home. Okay, so we're going to get started right away. We're just going to go right into tuning, okay? It's always a good idea to tune your guitar before you go. Once again, if you need a tuner, there are several options for your iPhone, iPad, your Android phone, smartphones and stuff. There's all sorts of options for you that are free. If you want a tuner much like the one I've got on mine, which is up here on the headstock, I'll put another link. There was a link on the last video. I'll put another link. If you're local, I'm going to give a shout out to Chuck's Guitar Shop in Leamington. They are doing deliveries into Essex County, so Windsor, Leamington, Kingsville, Essex area, anywhere, kind of just give them a shout. I'll link their info as well. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into some tuning. Okay, so we're going to start with our 6th string. And once again, that's the top string, okay? Get my thing to work here, boom, okay? So the top string, the thickest string, your E string. Make small adjustments. Again, if it's way out of whack, you're going to have to do some major work after the lesson, okay? This is your 5th string, your A. So second one from the top. Next, 4th string. Oh, make sure I've got mine in tune. There we go. Should be in tune now. Okay. Next we've got the 3rd string. That's out of tune. I can hear it. Hold on. Come on. Okay. There's your 3rd string, your G. Okay. Next, your 2nd string, which is B. And then your 1st string, high E. Okay, now I had mentioned high E being the lowest string physically on your guitar, and the low E being the highest physically on the guitar. It's backwards. Some beginner people have a hard time with that for some reason. I'll say high E and then they'll go, no, that's low E. Low in pitch, right? Low. And we've got high, right? So that's what we're looking at, okay? Is which one's higher, which one's lower. Same thing, when it comes to playing on the guitar, we talk about moving up the neck, okay? And a lot of beginner students get confused. They'll say, okay, move up the neck, and they'll go this way. And it's like, no, not up physically. Up, you can hear, the pitch going from low as you move closer to the body, going higher and higher. That's what I talk about when I'm saying move up. Like I'll get a student who'll play, where they're playing the chord in the wrong spot. And I'll say move up, and they're like, I can't move up. It's like, no, move up this way, up in pitch. Okay. Okay, so that's just something that I wanted to touch base on. A lot of people, again, when they're first starting out, have some trouble with that. Just want to make sure that this is looking good. Just gonna check one thing real quick, streaming wise, just to make sure. Okay, there we go. Cool. All right. So we've tuned our guitars. Let's do a quick review of what we looked at last time. So these are the 3 chords we looked at with the first lesson. We looked at your A chord. Okay, and again, the dots tell you where you're going to put your fingers. The numbers tell you which finger you're going to put their finger number 1, 2, 3, 4. We forget about thumb for right now. Okay, so again, finger number 1, finger number 2, and finger number 3, all kind of in a row, smushed in together, you know, and again, you got to move this one finger back a little bit in order to get there. 1, 2, and 3, and then you're going to strum all 6. Still sounds a little out of tune, but that's okay. We'll fix that later. Okay, so there's your A chord. And again, I saw my thumb creeping up there. That's bad technique, John Brett. Okay, your thumb's got to hang out back here. Don't let it creep up too high. You can do this eventually, okay, but right now I want you to keep your thumb, get comfortable with your thumb back behind. That way you can use your fingertips. You can curl your fingers, leave that little bit of a gap in over here. Okay, so you saw how I have a gap there when I'm using my fingertips. Don't let it flatten like this. Don't grip it like a baseball bat, not a golf club. Your thumb's not going to go flat. I don't know if I can show you that. Anyways, you don't want your thumb flat, you know, hanging out over here. You want it up, thumbs up on the guitar, using your fingertips to play those chords. So there's your A chord, your D chord. Okay, let's see if I can get a better view of your D chord. 1 and 2 and 3. This one again a little bit tricky. Your first finger on the second fret of the 3rd string, second finger first fret of the second fret of the 1st string. Oh, I'm gonna confuse everybody. And then your 3rd finger is going to be the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. 1, 2, 3, and again we want to try to avoid playing the 6th string as much as possible. 5th string's okay. Ideal is 4th string down, but it's okay to get that 5th string in there. Try to avoid the muddy 6th string. Okay, it just gets too rumbly and sounds bad. Okay, and then finally our E chord, first finger on the 1st fret of the 3rd string, 2nd finger all the way over to the 5th string, 2nd fret, and then your 3rd finger is going to go on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Okay, I don't know if I said those right. 1st finger, 3rd fret or 3rd string, 1st fret, 2nd finger, 5th string, 2nd fret, 3rd finger, 4th string, 2nd fret. There we go. Okay, so your A, your D, and your E. Okay, so as important as those chords are, there are some other chords that we're going to be looking at. We're going to try to do 2 chords today, and they are going to be 2 of the most commonly used chords, especially in popular music today, in any music really, but especially anything that's guitar based. These are 2 of the most common when it comes to playing chords. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. Okay, now these ones are going to be, and I'll make a slight adjustment. These ones are actually probably 2 of the most difficult chords for beginner students to get a handle on. Once you can get these ones, and then there's one other real tricky one, you can pretty much do anything. If you can get your fingers around these chords, then you can pretty much play anything. But again, as a beginner guitar student, these are the ones that give most students a lot of trouble. Okay, so I'm going to try to give you some tips. We're going to look at a couple of ways that we can play the same chords to make it a little easier for you. Okay, so without further ado, let's take a look at I want to do the C chord. Let's do C. Okay, so I fixed it. If you notice there's a letter beside the chord. I'm so smart. I got it figured out, but I didn't fix the other one, so your D chord is still going to not have a name. But anyways, we learned that last week, so you should know it by now. Anyways, here's your C chord. What we're going to do is... Okay, again, the dots tell us where to put our fingers. The numbers tell us which finger we're going to put there. So we're going to start. And I always go 1, 2, 3. Okay, no matter what order they come in, like say left to right or anything like that, I always look at it first finger first, second finger second, third finger third. Okay, that I find is the easiest way for me to figure out a chord chart. Now some people go again, they'll go from left to right or right to left, whichever, whatever works for them. But I find, again, to finding the first finger first, then the second finger, then the third finger is the best and most efficient way to figure out your chord chart. So let's take a look again. So your C chord, your first finger is going to go on the second string on the first fret. There we go. Okay. Your second finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth string, second fret. Now this is where people start getting where things get tricky for people, is you got to reach that third finger all the way over to the fifth string. Now I've got long, like monkey fingers, okay, so I can do that no problem. Now some of you guys, you might be young students, you might be, you might have short little stubby fingers, which is nothing wrong with that. You might, be growing into your hands still, and some people just have a hard time reaching. Okay, so the best bet here again is you're trying to reach with your fingers, keep your thumbs up on the guitar so you can reach a little bit better. Once your thumb starts creeping around here, sure, you can get to these ones, but then trying to reach these and get them in the right spot, you end up getting a lot of dead notes and stuff like that, especially when you're first starting out because you're gripping the thing. Okay, don't do that. Get your thumbs up on the guitar. Take your first finger, curl it around, put it on the second string. Take that second finger, curl it around, put it on the fourth string, and then that third finger. And you got to stretch, okay? They have to stretch. So sometimes I get students that they'll try to do it all like this and they'll all go like that. That's going to be wrong. If you're smushing it all onto two frets, it's not going to work. You got to stretch it out, okay? The closer you are to the fret, the easier it actually is to play. Okay, and the clearer the notes are going to be. So if you can stretch those fingers out. Now, sometimes you're going to have to, depending on how you're doing, okay, depending on how your hands are, you might have to kind of sneak up a little bit. But I'm telling you, if you're back this far, yeah, you can still play those notes, okay, but you're going to get a lot more dead notes, and it's going to hurt a little bit more to push your fingers down. You have to push harder in order to get that note to sound if you're farther back. If you're closer up, see, it's just a little bit, okay? So like I was back here, moving up a little bit, just a smidge, right behind the frets. You're going to be able to get a nice clean sound. Okay, so that's what I want you to do, okay, using your fingertips. So there's your general C chord. Now if you look at the chord chart, there's a little X over top of the sixth string. Okay, and it's in one of these cases, yeah, that note, all six strings, is fine, okay? It fits, except for it does get a little bit muddy, okay? It's not a wrong note. The C, that low E is part of the C chord, okay? It's the major third of the C chord, okay? So that's in there, okay? But it kind of sounds a little muddy. So if you can, focus on trying to strum down from the fifth string, okay? But if you hit that sixth string, I'm not going to get mad at you. We'll be fine, okay? You'll be fine. So anyways, there's your C chord, okay? If I could just get anybody to write, make a comment or anything like that. I can't see anybody. Some people are liking the videos, so I don't know. I just want to make sure you can hear me. That's all right. I'll just keep going, and if you can't hear me, I might have to do it all over again. I don't know. Anyways, so there's your C chord, okay? Now, some students have a hard time with this one. I'm going to give you a variation of the C chord. I don't have a chord chart for it, so I'll explain it to you. Okay, so another option for you to do for a C chord that some people like, some people don't. Okay, so that's your basic C chord, the one that I've got on here, right? 1, 2, 3. Okay, now one variation that you can do to make it for some people a little easier is actually to play it with 4 fingers. And so what I'm doing here is this. I've got my first finger on the first fret of the 2nd string, my second finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, my third finger is going to go all the way over to the 6th string, and my pinky is going to sneak in there on the 5th string, 3rd fret. Okay? So what that's going to do is it kind of rounds out the sound a little bit. Okay, versus and some people like to use all 4 fingers rather than just use the 3 fingers. I would say that most most guitar players that I've seen who are playing live shows and things like that, they'll use a chord like this, or they'll use a C add 9, which we'll talk about another time. But when it comes to playing this chord, or the C, regular old C chord, some people play it this way, some people play it this way. I prefer this way. That's the way I would prefer. Okay, so again, you've got your regular old C chord or the variation with 4 fingers. Don't feel like it's necessary for you to do one way or the other. Okay, if you can only do it with 3 fingers, do the 3-finger chord. If you can do the 4-finger chord, go ahead and do it. There's some advantages that you'll find a little bit later on if you can play with the 4 fingers, and we'll talk about that another time. Okay. Next chord we're going to talk about today is we're going to take a look at the G major chord. Okay, so the G major chord, again, this one's another one that's really tricky. I had a friend of mine, Jeremy, who had said, last week, oh, those chords are pretty easy, the E, A, and D. I don't have a problem with those ones, but if you get to the C and the G, these are going to be the ones that are going to give me trouble, and that's why I wanted to look at these ones today. These are the ones that give everybody trouble, okay, the C chord and the G chord. Now, here's how we're going to do the G chord. Okay, you're going to take that first finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th string, 2nd fret. Okay, now at the same time, you're going to take that 2nd finger, you're going to put it over here, all the way over to the 6th string, 2nd fret. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, if you didn't have to stretch all the way like this is the part that gets everybody, is you got to take that 3rd finger and tuck it in over here on the 1st string. Again, if you don't have long spindly fingers like me, okay, that gets a little bit tricky. Even if you do and you don't know, you've never played before, it gets a little tricky. Okay, you got to get that finger back in there. Okay, so 1st finger here on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and then your 3rd finger on the 1st string, 3rd fret, and that's going to sound like this. And you're free to play all 6 strings with that one. Okay? Now, once again, there's a variation for this one that some people find a little easier. Especially, I find for the younger students, they have a little bit easier time with the variation. I'm just going to switch something real quick here. Boom. Okay. So sometimes the beginner students have an easier time with the variation than they do with the regular one, just because that 3rd finger having to bring it all the way back to the 1st string is a little bit tricky for them. So here's what I'm going to do. Again, I don't have a chord chart for this one. This is just going to be something I'm going to explain to you. If you could do one or the other, it doesn't matter to me. They're both correct. So again, so 1st finger is going to stay the same. 2nd finger is going to stay the same. So 1st finger, 2nd fret, 5th string, 2nd finger, 3rd fret, 6th string. Your 3rd finger, instead of going to the 1st string, is going to pop over onto the 2nd string. Okay, so a little bit less of a stretch. Now, that's not all. You have to get that pinky in there. So once again, this is a 4-finger chord. Okay, so you're going to take your pinky and put it on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Let me get the angle here. Okay, so again, your 1st finger, 2nd finger, and then third finger and pinky tucked in right beside it on the first string. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah. Okay, so third finger, pinky, and then these guys. Okay, and again, not a huge difference. Okay, both of them are correct. Just one has a little bit different sound. Okay, and some people find believe it or not, using more fingers to be a little bit easier to play. Okay, so that's what I'm going to suggest that you do. All good, JB. Thank you for letting me know that you can hear me. That's good. Okay, so again, C chord. Okay, let's get that C chord back on the screen. There's a C chord. Okay, there's your 3-finger C chord or your 4-finger C chord with that pinky taking the third finger's place. The third finger going on the 6th string to the G chord. Whoops, I should do a 3-finger first before I jump to the 4-finger chord. Okay. Oops, I forgot to change the chord, and now there's my face again. You don't want to see that. There we go. There it is. The G chord. Okay, third finger as is written, and then the variation there. And again, whichever one works best for you. If you're having trouble with one or the other or both, okay, I suggest that you rewind this and go over that part again to figure out what in the world is going on. Why are there extra chords, extra fingers everywhere? That's what you want to fix. Okay, you want to fix whether, fix where your fingers are going to go. Okay, get comfortable with one or the other right now. Again, a lot of people stick with like the basic ones, okay, or a lot of people will go straight to these 4-finger chords, whichever ones are more comfortable for you. Okay, yeah. So let's work on switching back and forth. Okay, let me see if I can do this. Okay, so I want you to play for me. So grab your guitar, and I want you to start with your C chords. I'm gonna give you a second. Okay, to get your C chord. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna strum. Ready? We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I'm gonna have you do it again. I don't know why I shut that off. Okay, let's try it again. We're gonna strum it 4 times. Okay, ready? Get your fingers in position and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now you beginners, you can take a little bit of a break here. Okay, let your fingers relax. If you've been holding down those strings for a long time, your fingers are gonna get a little bit sore. Take breaks. The beauty part about online stuff is that you can hit pause and take a little bit of a break and let your fingers kind of go, soften up a bit, so you don't, you don't hate playing guitar. Okay, so again, back to your C chord. Get your fingers into position. 1, 2, 3, and we're gonna strum to 4 times. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. There we go. That's if you want to do the variation. Okay. There's your C chord. Now let's get to your G chord. Okay, so get your fingers in position. 1st finger, 2nd finger, and 3rd finger. Ready? And let me hear you. Oh, I can't hear you. I don't know why I said that. But anyways, used to the in-person lessons, I guess. Let's give it a strum. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. It would have been nice if I would have counted you in, but apparently I'm not like that. So let's try it again. Okay, so we're going to get our fingers ready, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Okay, one more time back to our C chord. Okay, get your fingers in position. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And then back to your, oh, that's me again. Oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. Back to the G chord. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. All right. Very good. Very good. Okay, cool. So These chords, again, these are two of the most important chords when it comes to playing chord-based stuff, which, I mean, that's not all we're going to do, but that's what we're doing right now. Okay, so your C chord, your G chord, those are two of the most important right now. Okay, so really get a good handle on those ones. Now, songs that you can do with these, I mean, there's a billion songs that have them. If we use just chords that we know, there's a couple of them, like you could do... it's kind of variation. So if we were to learn our D chord, our C chord, and our G, we could do something like... Right? So it's D chord last week, C to the G. If you're not sure what song that's, Sweet Home Alabama, skies are so blue, sweet home Alabama, Lord, I'm coming home to you. Okay, so again, that one there, in case you were interested, we're not going to do the intro right now. We could do that another time, but you're looking at C chord, D chord, D chord, C chord, G chord, right? So it's like D, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4. Slow down a little bit. Again, I'll put those chords up there for you. Hold on, let's put all three of them. There you go. Okay, so we're starting with the D chord. 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, D, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4. One more time. D, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4 to the G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4. Back to D, 2, 3, 4 to the C, 2, 3, 4 to the G, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So that's one, and that takes a little bit of extra stuff for the intro. Okay, but that's it. Those are the only chords in that whole song. You can play that entire song just playing those D's, C's, and G's over and over and over again for, I don't know, 4 minutes, 3.5, 4 minutes, and you got a song. That's the beauty part about playing chords this way, is that you can actually learn the whole song, at least the guitar part to it, in a matter of a couple of chords. It's great. Okay. Another one you could do, most of the song, again, there's some variation, and we'll learn another chord next week that you'll be able to do this one fully, but this is... okay, so it's G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4. It's like, hey, where do we go? I don't really know the words, but I'll keep on singing this song, 'cause I know you kind of recognize it. It's Brown Eyed Girl with the alternate lyrics. That's on their greatest hits album, the bonus track. So, okay. So again, that one it goes until it gets to an E minor chord, which we'll talk about it next time. Okay. But anyways, we've got the C chord, right? C, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, G chord. My goodness, what am I doing? G chord, 2, 3, C, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, D. Okay, Okay, slow that way down for you guys who are just getting started. Okay, so again, we're going to start with our G chord. Oh my goodness, keep saying the wrong chord. You're going to start with the G chord because I know what I'm doing. Okay, so 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. C. 2, 3. Back to G. 2, 3, 4 to D. Back to G. Into C. Back to G. Back to D. I'm going to do it one more time. Well, twice actually. G. 2, 3, 4. C. 2, 3. Back to G. 2, 3. To the D. 2. One more time. G. 2, 3, 4. C. 2, 3, 4. Back to G. 2, 3, 4. D. 2, 3, 4. Finish it off with a G chord. Okay. So that's about it for today. Okay, again, I want you guys to practice that stuff. The great thing is that you can rewind, go over little sections again and again if you need to. Okay, these chords are very, very important. Try the variations, get one or the other. Again, it doesn't matter to me if you play it, oh, I want to play it this way, or I'm going to play it that way. Doesn't matter at this point. I just want you playing those chords. Okay, a little bit every day. If you've been practicing, if you practice 5 minutes every day this week, then you are going to be a rock star. You're gonna make $1 million. You'll give me half, give half to your mom, if you know, or your wife or whatever. But I still get half, so it's cool. You know. But anyways, if you practice that much, then at least you're gonna go someplace. You're gonna be able to learn the guitar. Okay. If you didn't practice that much, I want you to practice that much this week. Okay. If you did practice that much this week, practice again. Okay. Keep doing it. Okay, a little bit every day. I say 5 minutes. 5 minutes is like bare minimum. Okay, if you can do more, great. But I don't want you to hate it. I don't want you to do so much that you think it's terrible. I just want you to pick up the guitar. Okay, so a little bit every day is super important. Okay.